Alright, so in today's video we're going to be talking about linear movement in your videos, and I'm going to show you how you can use it to reveal something, emphasize something, or just add interest to your shot. So adding some linear motion to your shot can be done with a variety of different filmmaking tools, but some of the more common ones would be a camera dolly or a camera slider. Now, one of the first videos that I actually put out on my channel was me showing off my little DIY camera slider that I made out of some PVC pipes and some skateboard bearings. Nowadays, you can buy little sliders like this that do a much better job and are actually really cheap. I actually did a review on this one. You can check that out right up there, but you can also use sliders like the one that I'm using right now. Right now, I'm using the Canova P1 slider with the S2 motor, and Canova was nice enough to send this slider out to me for a review, but as with all my reviews, not being paid to say anything nice about it, and this is going to be my honest and unbiased opinion. So what I wanted to do in this video was kind of create some unique shots that you could really only accomplish using a motorized slider, and just kind of show you some of the practical applications that you could use a slider like this in. I'm also going to be giving you some of my thoughts on this Canova slider, some of the things that I like, and some of the things that I don't like so much. So all those shots that you just saw were done with the Canova motorized slider, and obviously you could do a lot of those shots with a manual slider as well, but the repeatability and precision of a motorized slider just makes those shots so much more easy to achieve. One shot in particular is the Dolly Zoom, and I actually did that shot with a prime lens, so I didn't even have a zoom lens on it. But what I did is, because you can get such a smooth and consistent slide with this motorized slider, all I did was a simple digital zoom. So I was digitally zooming out of the image while it was dollying forward, and that's how I achieved the Dolly Zoom effect with this little slider. So another practical application of a slider like this is to just add a little bit more interest in a YouTube shot like this. As you can see, I'm using the middle rod to create a pan as it's sliding back and forth, so more or less I'm staying in the middle of the frame. Now, this is not necessarily very cheap. I guess it is all relative to what you think cheap is, but this is a $250 slider package that has the slider and the motor with it, which in my opinion is a pretty good deal. But one pretty cool thing that this slider can do, which you've probably seen in some other motorized sliders, is that it has this rod in the middle, which if you move it from side to side, as you can see, it actually turns your fluid head on top. Now you can use a fluid head or a ball head, but I have one of my newer S2s on top of here. So you can actually change it so that it can pan as it slides. So say I want it to pan this way, as you can see, as I'm sliding it, it's also gonna pan with me, which is actually pretty cool. Now, one other cool thing about the slider is that the rails are carbon fiber, so they're gonna be pretty light, and then everything else is metal. So yeah, that's the slider. The S2 motor is what's actually moving the sled from like one end to the other, and it's actually doing so with just a small little belt right here, and the belt is feeding into the motor's teeth, and then the teeth are turning, and then that's what's actually moving the slider back and forth. So it's pretty simple to set up, and Canova provides you with everything that you need. It comes with this controller box, which has a hard wired connection, which I definitely prefer. I've used sliders in the past that connect through Bluetooth, and you have to like use an app on your phone in order to move the slider back and forth. Although that's cool, there's a lot of times where the app just won't work. The Bluetooth connection will just die. And if your phone's dead and you're out in the field, there is no way to move your slider. This little controller unit, it runs off of Sony NPS style batteries, which I have a lot of anyways, and they're really cheap. The way it's used is actually pretty easy. You turn it on, you set your A point. So I'm gonna set my A point, click, set your B point, click, and then you can either choose from live motion or time lapse. So if you're going to be doing video, obviously you're going to be picking live motion, and then time lapse is when you want to take a time lapse. My GH3 has a time lapse feature built in, but if you have a camera that doesn't have a time lapse feature, you're going to need a intervalometer for that, so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna do live motion just to show you, and you can go to auto or manual mode. But yeah, you can choose your duration, your ramp, which means it'll slow down to like a nice smooth stop. And then you can choose to have it loop. And if you have it loop, then it can just keep on doing it back and forth until you tell it to stop. So with a slider like this, you can be as creative as you want to with it. Some of my favorite uses for a motorized slider is for product shots when I'm trying to do B-roll. So if you're like a tech reviewer or something like that, this could come in really handy to get really nice, precise shots that you won't have to keep on doing over and over again like you would with a fully manual slider. But as far as the performance of the slider, it actually is really, really good. The slides are really smooth and the time lapses work great. And I definitely like having this little rod in the middle to do pans with your slides. That's really helpful. Especially again, if you're gonna try to do anything where you're gonna be, you know, doing like a talking head type thing and you want the camera to follow you as it slides. It's really easy to do it with this. And it's nice that it's not electronic type thing where you would have to have like an electric motor here on the pan base too. Having just a little rod right here that turns the pan head like that is just so simple, and there's really no way that it's not going to work. So overall, I really like this little Canova slider. I've used a lot of Canova products in the past. I used to have one of like their really early sliders when sliders were like the big thing. So it was really cool that they reached out and wanted me to test this out. I definitely had a lot of fun with it. If you want to check this out for yourself, I'll have links in the description. And yeah, there'll be a bunch of other links to gear that I use and recommend. If you like the music in my videos, again, I'm an ambassador for MusicBed. And if you click the link, you can get a 30-day free trial at MusicBed. And they have the best music for your YouTube videos. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. You can click right here for more videos and playlists. And I'll see you next time. Later.